Keeping it real with Kenny.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Keeping It Real with Kenny Adeyemo. Like I promised you, we will be back on the second and part B of the topic relationships. So I still have my guest here, Chief Kole Ojo. We will be digging deeper into the reasons why relationships fall and why they stand. So come with me and let's go. I still have my resource here, Chief Kole Ojo. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you once again.
I am very glad to be here once again. Thank you so much.
So thank you, sir. And so for the part A, we had episode part A on relationships. Chief Kole Ojo here is going to give us a brief recap, isn't he?
Yes.
On what we've discussed, and we dive straight into the part B.
Yes, thank you very much. At part A, we covered some grounds and talked about issues that can trigger future problems in marriages, from courtship, from the time they meet, from the time they meet again. Yeah. And so one of the things we mentioned, which is quite key, because respect is the foundation of any love, as far as we are concerned. And I always use the example of the fact that it's not just food that a man needs. A man needs respect from a woman, and the woman needs love. Most of the times we find that causes of divorce in the end relates to issues of lack of respect, emotional detachment, giving themselves silence treatment in the house without communication, bad communication, and abusive attitudes and all that. So if you are having a relationship or you're starting a relationship, you need to open your eyes. Love is not so blind, as they say. You need to open your eyes, shine your eyes.
Yeah, that's what they say, shine your eyes.
And make sure you understand and see the signals for what they are. And call those signals out very, very early. If you don't like somebody being late, let them know that when they are late or when they are not punctual, they actually cause you a lot of stress. Let them give you undertaking or some assurances that they will make amends in the future. And watch out whether they really are going to make the changes. If they are not making changes, make sure you draw it to their attention. And if people are really going to stay with you, they will stay with you. If they are not going to stay with you, they will still won't stay with you no matter what you do. So it's very important to keep that line and keep the triggers under watch. Another signal you need to look at also, and which of course we say actually leads to cheating, is lack of appreciation from each other. A lot of women actually complain when we have sessions with them that the reason why they have done what they've done, or they are actually not happy with their husband, is because he's happy to talk to, he's happy to appreciate Mrs. A at church. And she's happy to say Mrs. A's dress is looking beautiful when he saw her at church. And she has been with him for so years. He has never for one day said she was even looking smart, let alone beautiful. Things like that are what you need to look for. Even at the courtship stage, look at how your other party or your proposed husband or wife appreciates and is grateful for your appreciation. Again, gratitude is very important. Some people, you cannot satisfy them at all. I mean, they always make a joke that women can't be satisfied, but really, at the end of the day, what matters is the ability to be able to reciprocate, attitude. If your spouse travels and buy you something, no matter how small, make sure you appreciate it. Say thank you at the right time also, not many months later. Thank you at the right time, and make sure you also reciprocate that kind of attitude. So these are the kind of little things that we said can make a relationship stand, and what also can make it fall. This is just a recap of some of the things we said. We said so many things at part A. So if you want to really know a lot of things about what we said in part A, I think what they need to do is to just go and review our videos again in part A, check the previous episode, and I'm sure you'll get more to learn about it. This part B, we're going to be talking more about the causes of the breakdown. In other words, we looked at things, we have talked about things that make it stand, like communication, emotional attachment, respect, and all that. But what really can cause it to go down is what I think we should be looking at now.
Talk about, yeah.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So I should fire on?
And with your legal expertise as well, I'm sure you must have had cases whereby, clients bring up issues like that. One of the main important things is about trust.
Yes.
Trust. Can you expatiate on that? Because trust, if there's no trust in a relationship, there's no point.
Yes, but there's a lot of definitions of trust, and people need to know that honesty is different from secrecy.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when we dealing with this type of matters legally, we tend to try and explain to couples, if those couples that indicate that they really want some mediation, that they want to really get some therapy or go back if they can, but try to solve issues of trust. So in some of the sessions, I explained to the couples, look, what you are looking for is total disclosure of everything from your spouse. And as human beings, it is impossible for us to disclose everything. Because sometimes it's not because we want to be dishonest, because we cannot remember everything. And so if you now say, oh, you told me you are not going to go to your mommy's house, but I told you, I now met my friend. He said my friend just told me she saw you on the way to so place, house. And I knew that you must have seen Mama. But why are you hiding that from me? We are supposed we are partners. I suppose you should be telling me all the truth. There's a difference between truth and honesty and disclosure.
Okay. So when you're talking about truth now, say if I'm going to cite an example whereby, in a couple, your past relationships, that's a big issue as well. Past relationships, you probably decided not to tell your spouse because you think it would flag up some unnecessary angers or issues.
Yeah.
And you eventually you get to know who the past relationship boyfriend is, and you kind of like saw them together. They might not be having anything they might not be having any relationship or something, but for the fact that you saw them together, you've concluded, because there's no trust, and because she probably hasn't disclosed everything, just not to aggravate any anger in you. What would you say about that? Because past relationship, I believe in most cases you should let your spouse know at least a brief of what, if not everything, so that at least when the situation arises where they see you with your previous boyfriend or something, at least they could have some bit of trust that I know about it.
Well, it's a very touchy issue in relationships, and I think all these type of matters can always and should usually be dealt with effectively at the courtship level. When you are going out to somebody, you are proposing to somebody, of course you don't expect, except the woman or the man disclose right up front and say, well, I am a virgin. You are the first person I want to be with, or I've never been with another man, or I've never been with another woman. If somebody had boyfriends or girlfriends before, you should ask from day one. Do you have a boyfriend? Do you have another boyfriend? Do you have an existing boyfriend? I even ask how many boyfriends you have. Because these days, some of these people, young people, have what they call many body counts. 5, yeah. So, you need to really know the kind of girl or man you are dealing with. Yeah. If it's a person that has a multiple relationship, then that's even another signal for you to think about whether you can cope with that person. But if after discussing the past with each other, and each other have disclosed to themselves, I used to be this, I used to be that, but now I'm no longer with them. You need to really have good evidence that they are not together again before you can even thinking of coming together to think of marriage. Because if somebody is still holding to an ex, that means there's still trouble waiting for you. Yeah. So in terms of that area, you cannot really trust somebody that is still texting an ex, somebody that is still seeing an ex, somebody that is still having a relationship with ex. Some people might say, well, but that's a bit too harsh. What if the ex is still somebody that can teach me this or give me this or coach me this?
They need a shoulder to cry on.
You must cry on the shoulder of your new partner if you really are serious in having that relationship. You must not have any other God except the God of your new husband or wife. And that's my own personal position on that. No best friend, no bestie, no my ex. All these things really damage.
It's a bit tough, because you're telling your husband that another guy out there is your bestie.
You're saying that your husband is not good enough.
Exactly.
You're saying he's not valuable enough. So it's a serious matter.
For the fact that you're now married to him now, he should be your bestie, isn't he?
Yes.
So you shouldn't be having another person out there, like I would call that a third party.
Yes.
That you would relate to. The third party in a relationship, it's a very crucial topic on itself.
Yes. So it's very important for trust to be in marriages, and but you see, as I said, there's a distinction between not disclosing everything. If it's not going to be a nice thing for a proposed for a man who is proposed to have a girlfriend, out of trying to be honest and be truthful, to declare that his mother is a witch. She doesn't need to do that. If as long as that's not going to affect what they are talking about. So because you can say too much, and that too much might even be a put off from the relationship. So it's all about what is necessary and what's important immediately. Then you don't forget that my mother always say that women, you cannot know them. It's not an overnight thing. So the meeting each other, growing together, growing up together, keeping each other and getting to stay together, it's a lot of stages. It's not an overnight thing. So therefore you cannot crucify maybe your girlfriend or boyfriend for not telling you everything, or that her daddy had a house in Lebanon, or that her mother has a house in Jamaica. All these things are things you can get to know later. And that does not mean it's been untruthful or it's been secretful. So those are the kind of things that I have dealt with, and I think it's a big issue in marriages. People don't know the boundaries sometimes, and they hold issues too strongly, and I said, look, only Jesus Christ is the one that is so clean that you can tell you everything in one go. So that's one thing. But another thing that really causes problem is money issues. Look, I will just be blunt to people that if you are poor, not even in marriage, if anybody that is poor is usually wrong in the eyes of the people, because there's nothing he says that will be right. That's true. Because, and also, if you are poor, you will always not be able to be in your best behavior. I'll give you an example. If you are poor and you are hungry, it's possible for you to steal other people's food if you are not disciplined. That's true. If you are poor, you're vulnerable. If you are poor and people are going to a party and they ask you to spend, everybody to contribute something, and you are poor, it's possible you will lie. You will lie to say you are not well, just to meet up. So poverty in marriages is a serious matter. And I always say to people, you don't need a billionaire. You don't need a millionaire to marry, either a wife or a husband, but you need somebody that has a very good source of income. Discuss your income issues openly. But if your wife is the one that has more money, she should also be respectful about your own position. But you, as a husband that doesn't have much, should not now be jealous or be begrudging your wife because she has more money. That's true. Or if you are the wife that doesn't have, then you cannot also begrudge your husband for buying everything and trying to say, if not because I don't have money, that's why you speak to me. Because people sometimes don't understand that the person that is sacrificing all for you is really doing it out of love. So money is an issue, and people should be able to be open about money. If you find somebody that is also extravagant, someone that spends loosely and lavishly, you need to know this from the courtship stage, because if you get to marry that person, you'll find that you'll be poor, not because you don't have money, you'll be poor because you are always spending everything you have and you don't have any savings. And that's where arguments will start. Then arguments will lead into silence. Silence will look into cheating. Cheating will look into divorce and all that. So that's another area. Another thing that people need to watch out for also is the issue of common faith. When I say common faith, it causes a lot of problem. And you see that all over the world, religion is a big thing. And we cannot ignore it. If you're a Christian and you come from a Christian home, as in you are a carnal Christian, your daddy, your mommy was a Christian, getting involved with somebody like a Muslim or other faith might be difficult for your parents to take. And it may even be difficult for you yourself to maintain unless you have really been ready and decided to go through whatever consequences that will ensue from that. I'm not advocating that Muslims and Christians can't marry, because at the end of the day, you know, even the Christian faith says that it is the unbelievers that we really need to move with so that we can convert them to Christ. You know, perhaps if you marry somebody that is not a Christian, maybe you'll be able to convert them to Christ, and it's usually that way anyway. But sometimes you find that a person of the other faith may want a Christian to go and become a Muslim. That's where the trouble begins. That's where it gets very interesting. So when you have that kind of clash of faith or clash of spiritual background, you need to tread very carefully. You need to know whether you can deal with that, because there's a lot of issues that come out of that. So that is a cause of problems I've seen in my own experience as well. You know, children is named this, and the other party is naming that children that.
According to their religion.
According to their religion. You know, it's Christmas time here in this house. And it's another festival somewhere else. And I am now angry that you did not come to that festival. So I'm not going to your daddy's house also for your own festival. So many issues will come out. And those consequences are too serious that anybody that cannot stomach it should really be very careful. And it's better, and my advice is better to stick to the faith that you know, if you can.
Okay. So we should not kind of like think, okay, this person is from another religion. Maybe by so doing, I might get to convert them. We should not stick to that, because
it's an assumption.
If it exactly
assumption is dangerous.
Exactly, very dangerous, because if the person eventually did not convert to what you think you would convert them to, then that's when it becomes an issue, isn't it?
Oh yeah, the whole family of that spouse will not be on you, and that's where the pressure comes. And it's usually the pressure from the third parties, external people.
That's true.
That will usually crack. And I always say to people, a leak in the roof always invite the rain. So once your roof of the house, your home, your relationship is leaking, then you are inviting the rain. And once there is a crack in the wall, you are inviting lizards. And these are things that people need to bear in mind.
Yeah. So basically, viewers out there, please do not involve third parties. Basically, that's what Chief College said.
Correct, yes.
You know, just try and, deal with issues together. You're both adults. Deal with it together and don't allow third party.
But issues of different faiths usually involve third parties.
Third parties,
because
definitely.
I've seen somebody that will say, "Oh, I've spoken to my pastor that she's Muslim, and the pastor have prayed about it, and the pastor says, if it's my wife or my husband, then we should carry on." Well, you need to, you really need God to visit you to tell you that, because there's a lot of risk to take. So people need to be very careful about that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Chief College. Another thing we're going to look at is about when you're talking about trust. We're talking about a situation whereby I've seen situations like this where a party maybe buys a house secretly, or buys a land secretly in their own name, not letting the other partner know about it.
Yes, I see that a lot.
So that causes a lot of
I see that. I see that a lot.
Yeah.
The moment that is happening, in my opinion, and I always say to my clients, the moment your husband is buying a land and you don't know about it, or your wife is building a house and you don't know about it, then it shows that the two of you have a totally different agenda. Number one, the two of you don't trust each other at all. Number two, and the two of you are planning your exit strategy. Number three. So that is really a serious matter. It is okay for a husband to want to surprise a wife, or a wife to surprise a husband, but you should still let them know that, I bought a land, a friend of mine mentioned a land, so that we don't lose it. I quickly paid for it, but I made sure it's in your name, or it's in our child's name, or it's in our both name. All this type of investment. If it's done voluntarily. If it's done voluntarily.
And you know about it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. It's better to tell your spouse everything, because a lot of people buy these things in secret. And at the end of the day, one of the problems they tend to have even is that one of them dies, even when they are fighting each other, and then the other person cannot even access the assets, because of lack of disclosure. So it's very important to be honest in relationships as much as possible. But as I said, some prices, some little surprises are allowed, and they are not necessarily mean lies or dishonesty. It's just somebody wants to surprise you with one or two things. So it's just those little things that I think can cause problems in financial issues, trust, and lack of respect also, and then clash of faith. Those are the kind of things I found in my own practice.
Still on trust, sir. There's some issues as well sometimes whereby maybe the husband buys a property and puts it in his name only. I understand the wife will be like, okay, why don't you add my name to it? And that could be another big issue.
Communication is the solution.
Exactly, and understanding.
Yeah.
Because the wife will be thinking, okay, if anything happens, the husband might have another side chick out there, or might probably have given birth to another child out there that she doesn't know of. I mean, this is what happens in Africa, where I come from, and at the end of the day, when it's time to share the will or whatever, you just see another child or children coming from another place, all because the property is in just the husband's name. But so they will also prefer at least just a sense of belonging, so that they have their name on, like maybe then when they're doing some assets, they do it jointly.
Yes.
And stuff like that. What do you say about that on your legal
from a legal standpoint, there are many reasons why sometimes property is bought in one single person's name in a marriage. It usually is because maybe they want to avoid tax implications. If they sell it.
Is that for diasporans or back home as well, Nigerians?
Also back home.
Back home, okay.
Yeah, and sometimes also you find that if the matrimonial home, which is jointly held on paper, is pledged for mortgage, it's risky sometimes because if the other party may not be able to, if you like, extricate herself out of the problem with the bank and all that. But the most important thing for people to do, and I'm from legal position, I always say to people, excuse me, if you are going to still buy property in your name, whether in a wife's sole name or husband's sole name, then you can still have what you call a deed of trust, or what we call a deed gift for each other, that says that we call it inter vivo, a deed of gift during lifetime, that if in case I die, I give this to my wife and my children. It doesn't, so at least the woman knows she has an interest in that land or in that house, in advance. Or you can even do a will and make sure she knows that she's the beneficiary, and you can even show her the will. All these things are the ways you can engender trust, especially in our society where people don't trust each other. But more importantly, women and men should try to keep their assets in joint names as much as possible. Just for the sake of the children and for the sake of themselves. Okay.
Because I know of someone back here in the UK said the mortgage, they're putting it in trust.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want her labor to go in vain.
Yeah, you can have a trust deed.
So just in case if anything happens to her or the partner, when the other partner remarries, whoever he or she remarries will not take part of it.
If it's England, under the law of England and Wales, if your husband has a property before marrying you, it still remains his property. And the only thing you can do after marriage is you do with his consent. You need to what we call place a caution or a charge on that house, and you would tell the land registry that the reason why you are replacing that caution is because you are his wife or spouse. So all these things are available in England and Wales. And so if you're in London and you feel that your husband may sell the house and may throw you and your wife away, or you and your children away, and that the person is to do what we call a land registry charge or caution.
Land registry charge
or caution on the property. So these are things that a solicitor can do for you, and or you can even go to land registry and get the necessary forms and place a charge on that property. It means that before anybody that wants to buy that house will see your interest as a spouse, and they will have to deal with you, and then there'll be no secret selling.
Okay.
So these are things
so
you
that
can do
makes
in
sense.
England and Wales.
That's if he's had the house before you got married.
Yes. Even if you now bought a house together after marriage as well, it means that both of you are you hold the property on trust, and the land registry should have both of your names. And so
I think some people say most of that to avoid tax. They might want it in just one person's name.
Yes.
And the other person could still do what you said now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So
viewers, are you listening? Yeah.
Yeah, and so for many other reasons, also for for financial reasons, it may be better to just keep the houses separate. So a wife will have their own, a husband will have their own. So if, for example, we default on the matrimonial home here, the bailiffs want to take us where at least we can go to Shropshire, where the wife has another house.
And then that's under the understanding of both of them, though.
With the understanding of both of them.
Okay. And also, I know back home they used to say, especially the side chicks, they say they prefer going out with a married man because married man knows how to look after girls and all that stuff. I want to ask you, as a man, a married man, if you hear something like that, what comes to your mind? Whereby a lady said, "Oh, I prefer dating married men because they know how to look after girls, they treat you well, unlike the single guys out there, they don't know how to treat women." When that comes to your hearing, what comes to your mind? What would you like to say?
My first reaction is disgust. It's disgusting because it shows that the young men of today have actually failed themselves as well, because that's really a reflection of what is happening. And truly, those girls actually know what they're saying. Usually, most of these young men are even marrying late these days. They don't want to settle down. They are chasing a lot of things, and they don't want to, to them, they don't want any liabilities. And these married men, they have money, they can take liabilities. And these girls, most of these girls are marrying for or getting involved with married men just to escape poverty.
I know,
and
because of the money, isn't it?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, a girl that wants to buy 500,000 naira a week, it's not going to be able to get it from a
single guy.
A single guy who's who's on 50,000 salary.
Exactly.
So they would rather have this these affairs, and it's unfortunate that most of marriages of young people, especially these days, in our society, you tend to find that almost all the marriages is where there is a husband and wife, and then there is a wife and a side chick, and the husband also we've had a side chick, and everybody's just doing what they like. It's just a pity. Really.
Very sad, because in most marriages now you see that even husband and wife, they live as tenants,
for economic reasons,
as roommates.
Yeah.
Instead of husband and wife, but you wouldn't know because they're under the same roof.
Yeah, but for economic reasons, they can't leave each other, so they manage to tolerate each other.
So when you say economic reasons, what's that?
Money. For money reasons.
Apart from money?
Just for safety and security, because don't forget that even in England and Wales, a lot of relationships that I find that have been together for long, not because of love, it's because they are afraid of what will happen after a breakup on mortgages, and a lot of people
raising the children alone.
Accommodation problems make people stick together, not because of love, because of they just want safety and security. So really, there's a lot of issues.
Both partners just keep doing whatever they want, but they're still together in the same house.
Everybody is tolerating each other.
Wow.
It's no longer, so it becomes toleration.
So, because I realize there's loads of the rate of divorce, it's really skyrocketing out there.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to see what we can do to reduce this,
Well, the only thing that can reduce it is really when if people are not economically empowered, there's always going to be discrepancy. And
so money is the root of all evil, basically. It's just money.
80% of issues that people have in relationship is down to financial matters. Even with celebrities, it's financial matters. It's either somebody wants to get somebody's house or get somebody's assets or whatever. So it's so what you call it gold digger. If it's not gold, it's the wealth digger or pension digger or something like that now. So
people could decide, I want to marry this person because of the money, not because you love them, but because of what. So whatever comes with it, then you take it because you called for it.
Yeah, and a lot of people actually do that these days. They actually, say Olowo Nshore Olowo.
Exactly.
Olowo
So I want to marry Dangote's son. I want to marry Otedola's daughter. I want to marry Awolowo. Because you really don't love them, but you're just going for the name and the money.
Marriages of convenience, for economic convenience.
That's what they call it.
Marriages of convenience.
And that's what they say.
Yeah. So sometimes you just have to manage what you see there and all that, because you are looking at the benefits. And so love these days is really a question of respect and shared values. If you can find it, a true marriage can only stand on real respect and shared values.
That's true.
I always say this, still on the same topic, that if you know as a woman that the person you want to marry is a man you would not want to respect, a man that you cannot respect. In other words, you cannot show that person off. You are not proud of that person.
That's true.
Then your marriage is bound to fail, because eventually you're going to cheat, because you just need to see somebody that's doing better than that person, and you just go for it.
Oh, when you're within your peer groups, you want to show off your husband, you'll be like, no, move back. You're not proud of who you've married. You can't show off to your friends.
I've seen marriages where a woman is saying, I cannot hold my husband's hand in public because he's not dressing well, or doesn't look fine. It's not handsome. Well, why did you marry him in the first place? You should really do the right thing. If you know you want to marry the most handsome person in the world, then you take your time and marry the person. But people need to remember that beauty fades, and what you are holding on today may not necessarily be there tomorrow. And you that think you are beautiful, you're going to also behold tomorrow. And it's just amazing how people just put a lot of vain values as priorities when they are looking at marriages now, instead of looking at the core values of, do we share the same value? Do we share the same God? Do we share the same respect for each other? Do we, all these things are what I think marriages expect.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah. Viewers out there, we've heard most of the important points. Please, let's be careful out there and choose wisely, I would say.
And one thing that I need to, just to round up, one of the things I want to say really is that if after all the ticks, after you've gone all the ticks and you've got respect, everything, marriages still break down for some reasons, maybe not the fault of your own, then know that there's always help. You can always call for mediators. Talk to your pastor of your church if he's a good pastor. To have a church, you go and talk to a pastor. Pastor may refer you to therapists. And also, if it's legal issue coming out of it, there are mediators that will try to solve the problem for you and see whether you can still try to patch the cracks. If it's only the last resort should be really divorce. And that's what I always counsel people to.
Okay. And also, if you're in an abusive relationship, please don't keep quiet. There are resources
domestic
out there.
Violence.
Yeah.
There's a lot of organizations that will help you with domestic violence. Just shout it out, call it out, and try not to make sure that, don't get the man to kill a woman, because sometimes women might be the woman that is violent. Don't let the man or woman kill you before you shout out. If you really need to leave the house, if it's England and Wales, there is a lot of support for those who have to flee their houses due to genuine domestic violence. And there's a lot of schemes, a lot of supports that you can have for that one. One of the places you can call to have that type of thing is Shelter or Good Samaritan. Call them and tell them your situation. In Nigeria and all those other African places, usually the cultural aspect doesn't let a woman really quickly leave the house. A woman can be seen as a prostitute if he leaves the house, or she's bad and all that. But my advice for people is, have a friend that you can confide into who can get help for you, even if you know you cannot help yourself.
We've heard it all, viewers out there. It's a very delicate and important topic. Please don't keep quiet. There are resources out there that could help you one way or the other. And if you feel, you're not safe or you don't trust anyone to talk to, you could email me, text me, and if we need to get in touch with Chief Kole Ojo, he's a lawyer, qualified lawyer, and he can, assign you to different resources that
Yes.
could help you.
Organizations,
Okay,
yes.
is that true?
Yes,
Okay.
we'll be happy to to refer you on to organizations, and if it's legal work, of course, we'll tell you how to find a good solicitor
Yeah.
to solve your problems.
Yeah. Don't forget,
So
we're
don't-
all in this together.
Yes.
Trying to make this world a better place to live in. You happy, I'm happy, he's happy, everyone is happy. Okay? So don't forget, please like, share, and subscribe. And click on the notification button. Anytime we load up new videos, you would see it. Okay? Thank you so much, Chief Koleo.
Thank you so much. And I just want to add to say that if you are looking at watching this video or watching this podcast, and you feel that Sanctuary of the Holy Spirit Church is a place you like to be, because at the Sanctuary Church of the Holy Spirit, Catford, London, we are a Bible-driven, Spirit-led church that wants to make people enriched with God-given information and advices that will make you succeed in life. If that's what you want, then Sanctuary of the Holy Spirit Church is where you want to come. We would love to see you on our Sunday services, and please contact the convener of this podcast, Kenny, via WhatsApp and email, and let us know your details, and we'll be able to send you invitations on how to get to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Chief Kole.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming over and for advising beautiful people out there.
Thank you.
So that's it for today. I told you it wasn't going to be long, and it wasn't long. So thank you for staying with us to the very end. We will be uploading our emails and telephone numbers. If there's any questions, there's a comment section. Just give us your feedback, put your comments there, like, subscribe, and share. Okay? I'm sure your son, daughter, uncle, sister, brother, even parents would love to hear this and watch this. So feel free, and I would see you another time. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.